Hello, happy Thursday. Thank you for joining me, everyone. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time where we can relax and craft together for about an hour here. And we work on projects from beginning to end for however many days it takes. So lately we have been working on the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt along. And today is Thursday, so that means it's new block day for the Splendid Sampler 2. And we have Fashionable Pineapple by Jane Davidson is our new block for the day. Adorable! It is needle turn applique, and I think I'm gonna just go full-blown needle turn applique on this. I'm gonna use some glue, but other than that, I'm not gonna use any iron-on stuff, no starch, no tricks. I am just going to do the actual flipping the edges under and stitching them down. Real needle turn applique. So that is the plan for tonight. It also means that this block might take us a little while, so this will probably go in my unfinished block pile. But we'll get a start on it tonight and see how it goes. So thanks again for joining me. We got to start out by picking fabrics. So I'm going to flip you around and we'll get going. Thanks again, guys. Okay, here is my fabric bin for this project. I'm only using my bright fun colors for every 5 blocks or so. And this is block 17, so I'm going to just pick from my not so bright. I think this is supposed to go, these two are in my bright section. My not so bright fabrics here. I have my light table out and ready to go. So for the background, I'm going to do white, just because that is my go-to background color for this quilt. I'm on purpose, whenever I can, using a white background just so my blocks have some cohesion. I've never done that before, having like an actual background that's similar throughout blocks, so that's one of my challenges this time around. All right, so we got that chosen, white background. I think this is cute, just yellow and the green like that. I mean, I don't have green, but I do have, let's see. I was thinking maybe this little yellow here, it's actually kind of a little hint of green in it, but it's just basically yellow, but it almost has, I think these are supposed to be foxes or something, but it has these little blips that almost kind of look like a pineapple, doesn't it? It's kind of like the, what would I call it? The little scales of the pineapple. So that's kind of fun. Let's do that for our, pineapple piece. And then we have a background color. There's actually a background piece underneath this yellow. It kind of blends into the background on this picture, but there's actually like a green gingham behind there. So we need to pick another fabric that will peek through these little holes. We are going to needle turn little holes in here. So, all right, what should that be? And then we also need the little frond there. So it needs to poke through. So I want it to kind of feel more like this fabric than the white. I think if I had this fabric behind it, it would appear more like it's trying to be the white than it's trying to be this color. It'd be fun to maybe have a tan or something behind it, I think. I don't know. I don't know. This might be kind of pretty. Have a little, this little yellow gingham poking through. That could be kind of cute. Just kind of subtle, but still in the yellow family. Okay, I kind of like that. What about the frond? That could be a little bit more playful, maybe. I suppose we could do like one of these elephants and stuff again, but I think that's maybe kind of weird. What about this little thing here? Yeah, I want it to feel different than this. It's kind of pretty. Should we do this kind of florally deal? Let's see what that looks like. So these two kind of go together. So we could have this as the pineapple. This is the pineapple frond, and it kind of has like a bunch of fronds in it, which is kind of neat. And then just this little delicate yellow peeking through this kind of brighter, crazier yellow. That could be kind of neat. I don't know. What do you think? I think, you know what? Let's just go for it. So those are our colors for tonight. There are little French knots in here too, but I'm gonna wait for that till we're way at the end before I do French knots. So I'm not even gonna worry about what those colors are right now. So, all right, let's get started. So we need to do the a 7-inch square for the background. And again, ultimately we'll get a 6.5-inch square, but we're starting a little larger for this square because whenever you do applique, there's a tendency for the fabric underneath to kind of scrunch up. Like with each stitch, it might pull the fabric a little bit more, and that reduces the fabric on the sides. Just kind of how when we did the free motion quilting, it shrunk down our 13-inch blocks a little bit. It sucked it in a little bit. The same thing might happen with this applique. So that's why we're starting with a 7.5-inch square. So let's do that. I don't think we're actually going to use it for a little while, but let's at least prep it all here. So we got my little pressing mat. All right. Ooh, this is a fresh new piece of white here. Yeah, I think we pretty much used up a lot of our white background on our last one, if I remember correctly. There, here's a nice little area. I don't need the light table quite yet. Let's do this cutting first. Okay. Back over here. First, let's square up this edge so it's real nice. And, you know, since we are cutting this down ultimately to 6.5 inches, and we're going to manhandle this fabric quite a bit, I don't really need to be so exact, but it'll help us when we place the design in here. So I'm still gonna try and be as precise as I can. Leslie, I did not pre-wash my background fabric. I don't pre-wash a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know a lot of people say to, so it's something in the back of my head of like, oh, maybe I should try that someday. I haven't really done that before. I think the general rule is if you pre-wash some of it, then pre-wash all of it, because then it'll all shrink at the same rate. And if you're using like recycled fabrics like old clothes or something, then pre-wash everything since old clothes have been washed. But I kind of don't really mind when there's like weird shrinkage. So I think the whole idea behind that is then all your fabric shrinks at the same rate, you know, the first time you wash it, because it's all pre-shrunk, and different types of fabric will shrink in different ways. So I think that's the concept, but I kind of like, I mean, if I'm being perfect, then yeah, maybe I should, I don't know, think about that a little bit more, but I kind of like to see what happens. And sometimes with quilting, the more it bunches up, the cuter it can kind of be sometimes, I think. So I don't know. I haven't experimented with that. I'd love to hear you guys' comments if you pre-wash your fabric or not. That's hanging out there as one of those question marks in my head of if I should do that or not. Oh, folding cutting mat. Thanks, Leslie. This is an Olfa cutting mat. So it folds out, I think it's like 18 inches by 12 inches, and then it folds out to be like 24 by 18 inches. It's pretty slick. I like having it sit here. It's just on my cutting, it's on my sewing table here, just ready to go whenever I need it. And if I need to cut something bigger, I can always flip it open. Pretty handy. So, all right, here is this guy. Now again, I'm not gonna need this white piece of fabric for a while, so I'm just going to set him aside. Next up, we need to get our applique pieces together. Yeah, 80%, exactly right, Don. I kind of shoot for things being 80% good. I don't have, you know, if I try and get something too perfect, then it's hard to finish. It's hard to know what to do next on it, and I get stuck and stressed when I try and do something at 100%. But if I think, I only have to do it 80%, then things get done. And you know what? It ends up being okay anyway. So, all right, here is the pattern. So let's just look at this for a sec. There's the background piece. So this is the part that's going to be seen through these little holes. And then this piece is going to be the part that goes over the top. And then this is that top piece. I don't think, let's see. Prepare the appliques, do not add seam allowance. Okay, so none of these have seam allowance on it. So for this piece, according to the instructions, I don't add seam allowance. So I just keep it as is, which is fine because this piece we're going to tuck underneath this piece when we sew it onto our final background. So this we cut exactly on the line here. All these other pieces we add seam allowance because we need to tuck under the seam allowance. But we do want to draw the line on because that's what we're going to use as our guide of where to tuck. So that is the plan. Oh, Karen, you never pre-wash and you use color catchers when you wash the complete quilt. I've been using the color catchers lately too, and I'm kind of way in love with them. They're that what's the brand? One of those normal clothing washing brands in the grocery store. They have a product called color catchers. It's just like a little piece of paper almost, and it kind of collects dye as it's washing, which is nice. Oh, is it Bounce? It's not Bounce, I don't think. That doesn't sound quite right. Or is it? You guys both think it's Bounce? Surely. Shout. I can't remember. Maybe you guys are saying the right thing. It sounds right, but it sounds like, is it that Bounce? Is it the Shout? Yeah, okay, well, one of those. It's a normal grocery store type thing. And that's the color catchers. You don't pre-wash. That means, drying and folding. You'd rather sew and wash when you're done. Shout. Is it Shout color catchers? Okay, Alice says Shout. Okay, consensus, we're calling it Shout. Shout color catchers from Shout. All right, I'm going to draw this on. And, I was just thinking, I don't really need to draw these French dots on, but I think I am because one of these French knot dots lands in the center of all these holes. So I can use these dots as guides to where my placement of all these, I think. So, all right, I'm starting with the background piece here. Let's just trace it on. I'm using this light table that I got probably over a decade ago. Light tables are so inexpensive and awesome these days. So light tables now come a little bit bigger than this, and they're like this thin for like $20. Back in the day when I really needed this, like in college and everything, I think I got this after college, but, I know I got this after college, but I always wanted one in college, and they were like hundreds of dollars and these big clunky things, and now they're $20. It's kind of insane and awesome. All right, so here is that. Oh, Die Grabber by Carbona. You always pre-wash as soon as you get home because there's, so that's interesting, Robin. So Robin says she pre-washes because there's chemicals and stuff on fabrics. You know what? That's a really good point. Maybe that's reason enough for me to start thinking about that pre-washing things in the future. Is there one more hiding in there? Nope, that's the last one. Okay, that's this piece. I'm not gonna cut it out all perfect yet, just because I'll do that all at once. So I'm just gonna just trim so I can toss this fabric away. We'll get that better later when we're done tracing. But there we go, is the first piece. I'm using a water-soluble marking ink, water-soluble marking pen. Fine, and it's by Fine Line. It's the Fine Line Mark Be Gone. That's what I'm using tonight to trace. Okay, let's get this easy one done. So really, we could kind of fussy cut here if we wanted to, but this is kind of just an all-over cute print, so I don't think I need to really bother fussy cutting. So remember, for this piece and this piece, we need to leave enough for a seam allowance, like just shy of 1/4 inch or so. So let's give this a quick press here too, I think. Just get this extra flat real quick. I love having the iron right next to me here. It really saves time from walking all over the place. Kind of like this little flower thing in there. Yeah. I'm getting fussy here. All right, fine. Let's just, right there, the end. Okay. So I'm tracing directly on the line because, again, I'm going to need to see that line for when we start needle turning, because I'm going to need to see where to turn under. Even though we'll cut it, we won't cut it on the line. We'll cut it on the seam allowance. We'll just estimate like a little shy of 1/4 inch around. All right, this is good. Scissors. So again, I'm gonna just kind of trim this. Remember, I gotta leave a seam allowance though, so I'm gonna make sure I'm far enough away. That's excessive, but oh well. There's that piece. All right, let's get this last one traced so we can get all this fabric out of our hair. This one's gonna take a little bit longer. So now this one, it has, like I said, those kind of fun scales. I'm gonna angle that in the same direction as this pineapple here. I think that'll be cute. Should probably press this again too. Huh? Ooh, this might be just big enough. Yeah, this little bit will be big enough with our seam allowance. So let's do that. Okay. What does she mean, wash away fusible? Does she say that in the instructions here? No, I don't think she's using, well, yeah, she's not using any fusible for this. You have the option to, I mean, we're doing the needle turn way of doing it, but there's all sorts of other ways to get this going. Oh, you're going to do the foil method, Debbie. You know what? That would have been a great idea. But I'm this far into it, so we're going to do just straight needle turn this time. But yeah, the foil method would have been great to tuck these edges under. But you know what? I don't think we actually have done yet this time around the needle turn where we actually just tuck the little pieces under as we go. So here's an opportunity to play around with that way of doing it, I guess. But yeah, man, I already forgot about the foil method. That one worked slicked for the past few blocks that we used it on. I think I was just hypnotized that this wasn't a circle. We've been doing a lot of circle appliques, and that's what we tried the foil method on, and that worked fabulous. But yeah, you can use that method for different shapes like this too. All right, I'm going to draw all these little guys into. Might take a little while, and you do want to be pretty exact on here because these are going to be our guides. So I'm trying to, as best I can without putzing too long, get these all drawn. I've never needle turned applique little holes like this, so this should be kind of interesting. Yep, I'm going to needle turn all these holes. I'm doing it tonight. I'm doing like I know a lot of times I veer from what the instructions say for applique just to try a bunch of different styles of applique, but in this case I'm doing it exactly how the instructions say this time. So this time, if you're reading the instructions, I'm doing it just like that. So we'll cut these little holes, little X's in these holes, and we will flip these under as well. Oh man, Jackie, geez, you're in a tornado flash flood warning until 1 a.m. Ugh. Hope you stay safe. All right, this one, yeah, let's see, 5 more, so. So this is that marker that I thought really spread a lot, but I don't know, maybe it's calmed down or something. I feel like it's staying in a nice, easy line this time, or it's just this fabric is working well with it. Not sure. All right, last one. I'm going to turn the light table off just to double check that I got everything. Yep, I think I can see everything just fine, so that's good. Done with that. All right, I'm going to just trim this out, and then we'll spend some time trimming all this a little bit better. Okay, get all this bulky fabric out of the way, get the bulky everything else out of the way. Keep that here. All right, I'm going to get down here and we're going to trim all these pieces. So we have our pineapple piece, our background piece, and our little hat here. So let's trim. So the background piece, the pineapple background, that's the one that we do exactly on the line. All the other ones we get a little seam allowance. You think she used fusible? I don't know. In the instructions, it doesn't say fusible. I think they're just tucked under. I don't have the book yet. I know some of you have the book already, or the digital version. Maybe it says something in there, but I'm just going off of the free PDF still. Oh, on her blog, she said that. Okay. Well, we're going to see how it goes this way. We're going the old school way of needle turn applique, except we are going to use some glue. And I'm thinking the ladies back in the day did not use glue. Okay. There we go. First piece done. And I got to remember what the top and the bottom is. The bottom is a little rounder and the top is a little wider. Or flatter. So the flat top is the part that goes by the pineapple top. Okay. Okay, I almost forgot, but these are the ones that need the seam allowance. So I'm going to just cut around it and leaving around my blue line and leaving just the seam allowance. And we'll trim this and cut into it a little bit more as we go, but for now, just a little seam allowance. I'm just a hair less than a 1/4 inch, and I don't know, some areas it looks like I'm getting a little shorter, a little skinnier, but it'll all be fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. And if it gets too bulky as we go, like if it's knowing how wide these are, then I can always trim them before I get to the next bit. Okay, so here is the pineapple top. So that'll get tucked under here eventually. And oh, it's cute. All right, so this one also needs a seam allowance. So let's trim that. Again, I'm just going a little shy of a 1/4 inch all around my outside line. Hello, everyone. All right, I think this is gonna be still cute, this fabric for a pineapple. It's gonna look very pineapple-y. Okay, the trick is how am I gonna get into these little bits here? All right, so there we are. Now I just have to I have to snip little X's in here. I think that's what it says. Cut an X in each square. So that is next. You know what? I know this is a giant scissors, but it's so sharp and accurate. I can't do it. Let's go for a smaller one. Freaks me out, that big scissors. And I think I'm going to just kind of poke a hole in the middle. There we go. And kind of snip. I'm not going all the way to the point. I think ultimately I may have to. But for now, I'm just kind of getting close. So this is going to take a little bit of time, but we're going to make all these little snips in here. Fold the little squares. Yeah, do it like this. But I'm just afraid that if I go like this, I'm going to end up snipping a little further in because these are so little. So I'm going to, just because I'm paranoid, I'm going to just keep doing it this way, even though I know it's going to take a hair longer. And actually, like I said, I think we are going to have to snip a little bit closer, but I'm going to do that as I stitch because I don't want it to completely fray before I get to it. Yeah, I know I can just fold it, but again, I'm too scared to do that. We're just going to go around little by little. There are a lot of these little fellers in here. You're going to make a purple pineapple. Aw, that'd be so cute. Oh, thanks, Julie. I think all of these pineapples that everyone's making are pretty much guaranteed to be cute. It's just such a sweet little design, the pineapple. It's going to take a little while here, but we will get to needle turning. The neat thing about this particular block, which I haven't done before, so I'm always excited when there's something that I haven't done before because, you know, it's a chance for me to learn or try a skill, especially with quilting when, you know, it's not the end of the world if it goes badly. So I'm excited to try this one because I won't be needle turn. I won't be putting the piece on the background right away. So in this needle turn, I am needle turning all these little holes first onto this piece before I even go onto the background piece. So that's different. I haven't appliqued a piece to another piece before putting it on the back. It always just goes right on the back. This will be kind of neat. Yep, it could be SpongeBob's little house here. All right, we're over halfway. So now you can kind of see, now that we're going to be needle turning all of these, why this block may take a bit of time to finish. Doing all this fancy needle turn. And I don't know if I've needle turned an inward shape like this either, so this will be... is this method called reverse applique? I think, yeah, is it like, I'm trying to just picture in my head, because we are just appliquing, but isn't, well, yeah, I think this part is, yeah, the inside parts, these holes are reverse applique, where we're revealing the background, and then we're normal appliquing, like non-reverse appliquing the whole piece. So yeah, the tucking it under to reveal the background, that's the reverse applique bit. So yeah, I have never done that. Actually, did we do a little bit of that in the first Splendid Sampler? I thought maybe we revealed something behind something, but maybe we didn't. I don't know. Might as well be my first time doing this then. Needle turn is an exercise in patience and that little consistent bits of time spent equals a finished something. For sure. Little by little, you get further and further, or farther and farther along. That's applique, needle turn applique. Okay, I think this is my last feller here. Yep, okay. So now we're gonna just place this on the back, and you know what? I think I might use the light table again. I thought I could see all the little holes through these, but not when they're not tucked under yet. So I think I'll use a light table. But here's the one part that she used glue for the applique. So Jane, in her instructions here, she has glue go around this outward edge here. So we can glue this piece on, because we're going to want these attached somehow when we tuck all these little ends under. And actually the glue is super nice, because then we don't have little applique pins or wonder clips or anything laying around. So I think the glue is kind of the way to go. So I'm going to get the light table back up here. We don't need this piece for, you know, a while, so I'm going to just shimmy that out of the way. Although I do want to peek what this looks like. So here's the white, and of course that background piece is underneath. And this guy will go up here. Ah, that's a straight pineapple there, just no frills on it. I kind of wish I had a decorative border, but this will be fun to do whatever free motion quilting later. That would be neat. Can like maybe mimic these shapes or something. Okay, that's a little ahead of the game though, a little bit. So all right, I'm going to, first of all, I'm just going to put the glue on here. I don't want to do that on my light table. So I'm just going to get my little Soline glue pen out, and I may need to put more dabs of glue on, because I think this dries pretty quickly. Actually, maybe I will just do it up here. So I'm going to turn this on. All right, I glued the one side. Oh, straight top. So I'm matching this line with the outside of the pineapple here. A little further up. Little over. Yeah, we're gonna have to dab the glue on, just because it's taking me a while to place it. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's gonna move around a little bit anyway, but I think, kitty scratch it a little. I think that's probably fine right there. All right, let's dab on more of this glue. Trying to stay on the fabric and not the table. Although it's just, you know, I can just wipe it off. I think my little glue pen's almost out of glue. The glue part keeps wanting to fall out. So I may have to get a new glue pen soon. Or I think they come with refills, these little guys. And this glue is washable too, so once we throw this in the wash for the first time, it'll all go away. I'm going to turn this off. And we're still not attached on this side. Let it dry. Okay, I think that will do. Okay, so now we are ready to applique open these little squares here, so we can reveal our back fabric. So all right, don't need this guy anymore. Okay, now I'm going to use that same Aurifil thread that I've been using to sew all my blocks together. I think this is the muslin color of the 50 weight Aurifil, and I have it on like a little left on this bobbin. So instead of just taking this all off or trying to use up this bobbin on the machine, I'm going to use it for this handwork here. Let's get my Zeb out here. This is from Fish Museum and Circus, this little dude on Etsy. And we're going to use my favorite little straw needle. I think this is a size, oh, what was it? It's a size 10 or 11 straw needle. It's super thin. The only thing is I've bent it so much, but I still love it. I think I do need to order a few more of these though, because I use it all the time now, and it's just my favorite. Okay, so let's give that a go. So I'm not going to use a lot of thread here. If you use too much thread, it can get all tangled, and that's annoying. So I'm going to just use a tiny bit. We only need enough to go around a square, really, right? So we need enough to work with, though, too. Let's go there. Size 11 Milners. Is that what it was? Yeah, I think you're right, Lauren. A size 11 Milner's needle or a straw needle. That's the same thing, really. Let's see. Geez, it has been a long time since we've done just normal needle turn applique, hasn't it? I think I just start with a little knot, don't I? Usually I haven't glued down the edge, though. That's the funny part. We're going to do a knot anyway. Oh, they had some guys on she had some more of these guys on Etsy the other day. Oh, and you missed them. Yeah, they are really hard to get, Noeline. She sells out of them within seconds, so you have to be on her newsletter, and you have to be there ready to go. And don't hit pay by PayPal. You have to hit pay by credit card, and hopefully it's a saved credit card, because they need to know immediately. Like if you wait too long and put in all your PayPal information, then it's too late. Someone else will have grabbed it. So I'm just trying to tuck these under. I think now is when I do have to get a little bit closer to the corner. Like I really got to get right to that corner edge of these little rounded squares. So needle turn applique is a little easier typically when you start on a straight edge. So I'm going to start right in the middle. I'm not going to start on a corner. So there, I just tucked under one little bit, just like that. I'm tucking it under until it's along my blue line there. And I'm using the needle to turn it, right? So, all right, I'm going to come up through there. Just through that, stab myself, through that edge. I'm going to tuck in that little stray thread there. And I'm going to go around that same spot again, just to kind of get started here. There we go. It does, Lisa, it's not hard as much as it takes a little while to get practice, and there are some tricks. So all of my needle turn appliques looked real weird on the first Splendid Sampler until I learned a few tricks. So we're going to get to one of those now. So I'm going to go, it's just like when we do our binding. I'm going to go down directly across just in the background, and I'm going to come up through my fabric there. That's my first stitch. So when you get to a corner like this, you want to, I need to fold that next edge over. And for corners, it's helpful to just kind of swoop the next edge under. Although this is like, there's so much, this is such a little space. I'm just going to get my fingers in there and try and tuck it under. But yeah, these are the smallest little bits here. So there we go. So there I've folded that edge over and swoop it to where I left off, and there. Now I have my nice little edge that's following the line there. So I'm going to hold it there and try and tack all that down before it comes up again. So just like doing a binding, I'm going in the background fabric and then coming up through the front fabric, and then going directly across into the background fabric again, and then coming up through the front fabric. And all we're doing is tacking it down. Oh, Robin says a toothpick helps. That's cool. There we go. So I tack it down as long as it's all in place all around here. The moment I have another area, like a stitch where I don't think I can move on because it's not folded under yet, I will fold that next bit under. So I'm trying to tuck in all these little loose frayed ends and try and do that swoop. Tuck them all in with that swoop. Sometimes I like taking the tip of the pin, or the needle, I mean, and grabbing the edge and forcing it underneath there. And then once you got it, grab it with your thumb and hold it in place. You don't want that. You got it good, and at any moment it might decide it doesn't want to be in the nice spot anymore. So you got to tack it down when you can. And these are itty bitty holes. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call this a beginner first time going doing the needle turn thing. I think a beginner can do it, but give yourself like some grace, you know. It's okay if it's not perfect. You know, we're just all learning and we're just all trying. All right, so we have one more to go here, but look, we can start to see our first little guy pop through. All right, tuck him under, and I'm just kind of swooping him in there again. He's looking good. Ah, see, he's popping out there. Let's get back in there. So the thing with these corners, when you do have to snip real close to them, and that makes like little fuzzles. And that's why you have to just, you have to keep stuffing them down. What if you tuck them all, then iron? Gretchen, I wouldn't try that. It's not that easy. They want to pop up. You're not going to be able to tuck them and do that. We did do a block like that in the last Splendid Sampler, but we used a really small iron, like specifically made for getting real close to the edges of applique like this. And we used starch. So we put a bunch of starch on the edge, and then we used this tiny little iron to press them all down. and I burnt myself a bajillion times, and I did not like it at all. So, so this is this is the old school, old-fashioned way of doing needle turn applique. You just turn the fabric as you go with your needle, and you keep on keeping on. Oh, thanks, Leslie. I do. It keeps me sane, I think. Or as sane as anyone would call me. All right, I can tell that I'm a little off with this dot here is where the French knot was going to go, but I'm going to err on just putting the French knot right in the middle once we get that far. So I suppose I didn't really need to draw those on. They say that the clover iron gets really hot. Yes, so Lisa, that's what we used. We used that little clover iron. It is so awkward. There's not a good handle, and the heat is all exposed, and even there's a guard on where the rod of heat is, and but it feels and looks like a handle. So whenever you accidentally do that, I don't know, you burn yourself, and it doesn't fit in the hand nice, like it doesn't balance in the hand nicely. I don't know, it's a mess. I don't like it at all. But I got one to give it a go, and meh, I don't know. I'll give it another try. It could be one of those things that, you know, once you've used it a bajillion hundred times, then you get used to it and you get a little system of way of holding it and stuff down, but I don't know. I'm kind of over it. I'd rather do it this way. All right, there's that first one. So let's I think I'll go around this spot one more time just to kind of hold it down, give it a final little stitch, and then I'm going to try and tie it off on the back, I think. I think I could have just come up originally from the back too. All right, yeah, because we are seeing it on the back here. So I'm going to just tie a little knot here. Yes, you want to choke up for that precision work, and you can't. And then when so you have to hold it all the way back on the handle, that iron, but then it's so front heavy that it hurts your wrist, like it's not ergonomically nice in any way whatsoever. And yeah, I burnt myself too much, and it didn't gain me anything. Like, it didn't get done faster. I don't know. You know, I don't know. Wasn't a huge fan. If you guys love the clover iron, that little clover iron, and you got some tricks, I'd love to hear them. All right. So there you are. There we are. We got our first little dude done. I got some fuzzles all over this thing. Might be from my sweater, but here we go. That is our first little piece. And I think they'll get better as we go because, you know, it takes practice and stuff. So what it does do, oh, there, now you can see if I'm really close, you can see the little texture. We have that little gingham in the background. So I think what this is going to do is just add just fun texture to this piece because, you know, we can see the applique, it's raised like this. So these little windows will feel like they're the next layer down, which is kind of cool. Yes, that bunny did turn out fun, though. I did like the end result of that block that we did use the clover iron for. Man, I don't know. I just need practice with it or something. That was my first time using one of those. So we will go and do the rest of these eventually. I mean, this might be one of those projects that we just, you know, do over time. But we will work on these other squares. There's a whole pile of them. And then we'll do the same process. We'll get this onto our background, and then we will just tuck the fabric under. And luckily we have a guide. We have the background fabric here, so we'll just be kind of tucking it under until we can feel that background fabric, really. So yeah, we'll tuck these all under. But first, before you do that, this guy's got to go on first. So we'll stitch this one, again, tucking it under. We'll cut into these corners so we can do that swoop and get that all stitched down. And then after this is on our background, then we'll put this guy on the background after it. So that is the plan. We got a little bit done tonight here, you guys. So here is what it'll look like again on the background. But again, much cleaner because we will tuck all this under and it'll be sweet and lovely. But there we go, guys. Oh yeah, we can definitely play this up with free motion. I'm pretty excited about that. We could echo it a little bit, or we could do like little swirls of some sort, maybe to mimic these shapes back here, like little a leafy meander or something. I'm kind of stoked about that now that we've been doing all this free motion quilting for our when we sew these blocks together. This guy, unfortunately, will be, it'll be a while before he's done. But all right, guys, I'm going to flip you around and we'll call it an evening here. Hello. So I think, Lisa, I will continue on this block a little bit more tomorrow. So, oh yeah, you know what, you guys, we could actually, instead of doing more of those windows, we could actually stitch. We could stitch this guy onto the top already. All we have to do is kind of mark the placement of it all, and then, you know, we could put this guy to the side for just a little bit, and then throw this guy up on top. Maybe we'll do that. Then we can do the other way of appliquing. And then the nice thing about maybe doing that is this piece has a lot of inner corners and outer bits, and those get treated a little bit differently. So this might be a good thing to do. So, all right, that's what we'll do tomorrow. I'm not even sure we'll get that whole thing done tomorrow because needle turn takes its time. But I will get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies when we're done here, and then you can give that little those little itty bitty windows a try. The little reverse applique there. You can hardly see it here, but I think you'll see it once it's on the whole piece. It does add some texture to it. So awesome. Thanks, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Valerie, I'm here at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and that's every weeknight. So Friday is tomorrow. I'll be back here 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So have a great evening, you guys, and I'll see you then. Good night.